For those of you who don't know me, I'm Chavio. I'm a community builder and blockchain gamer. My main thing is streaming blockchain games, and today we are going to talk about a very underutilized conversation topic of the whole blockchain industry. So one of the biggest things in blockchain that we talk about on a daily basis is what? We always talk about what's the new project, how much money is being made, what's the market cap on the token that they have with the game. There are so many things that we talk about on a daily basis, but one of the biggest things we don't talk about is the folks that are out there using these tools to become positive impacts in people's lives, in their own communities, in other people's communities, and around the entire world. So today, I am very excited to have a guest on. His name is the Real Cabrera. You guys know him as Daddy Rich, Sir Rich, and he's also a founder of Ready Player DAO, and we are going to have him on the show today to talk about how he got started in his journey, everything that he's doing now, when the light bulb came on that said, this is it, this is the thing. There he is right there in the chat. Real Cabrera, what's up, my man? So we're going to talk about all these different things and essentially what led him down the path that he took. And, you know, I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff there to talk about. And like I said, we often talk about the money. We often talk about, you know, how many ETH did it go for? What's the full market value? But I think one of the biggest things that we need to start talking about in blockchain is how are we using these tools to impact our communities? You know, like essentially we're a giant community of gamers, global gamers. Since blockchain gaming has started, I have seen such a big connection from people all around the world. I mean, just me, myself, I've made friends from all over the United States, Canada, South America, Central America, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, and all over Asia as well. It's really insane to me that, you know, we have grown into this just enormous global community. And I think because the blockchain bonds us, we have this central capacity for helping each other and for positivity. And I just think it's really time that we start shedding the light on it. So I'm going to go ahead and send Rich the interview invite, and we're going to get him on here with us. Rich, I just sent that over to you. Let me know when you get all set up. I should see you pop up on my screen here. And we'll jump on over into the interview. Guys, so the way we're going to do it today is I'm going to have a bunch of questions for Rich. We're going to talk through a lot of that, and then we'll jump into kind of an Ask Me Anything, where we'll actually let the audience ask a bunch of questions. And if we have time, maybe we'll play a few rounds of Axie today. I do have Axie up. I would love to play some Axie with Sir Rich guiding me to victory. 2000 MMR, let's go. But, you know, it's only if we have time. So let's jump on in and see if we can get Rich in here. Oh, there he is, Rich.
How's it going?
What's up, man? All right, let me kill the music for us. And we'll get you on here, man. How you doing this morning, brother? So nice to see you.
Pretty good, pretty good. Can't complain. Excited for this interview to chat a little bit about Axie and what's going on in this space.
I know I got you up early today, so sorry to get you up and get you on screen, but you know, this is just prepping you because I know your community would love to see more Rich streams, some Real Cabrera flavor early mornings. So this is just me helping you, you know, get where you need to be so you're ready to do these early morning streams.
Yeah, I'm not really a morning person, but I'm working on getting up early, start streaming more often. You know, I keep talking about getting on a regular cadence, but I've been slacking lately. But I think I'm gonna start doing it. Try to do it at least every other day. Really commit myself to that. So hold me to it, Chavio.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. And you know what? I think it's very hard to use the word Real Cabrera and slacking in the same sentence. I don't think I could do that. So if you think you're slacking, then I don't know what it is that I'm doing over here. But man, you're really doing a lot of big things, and I think you know, it's really exciting to see all the different things that you're getting involved in. And I think that's a great segue to jump right into the conversation. So, man, I need to hear about, you know, where was the Real Cabrera pre-blockchain? Where were you in life? What were you doing, you know, that led you into this path?
Yeah, so before I was in the tech industry working for a company called Red Hat. I was a solutions architect there, and I was doing architecture, POCs, just advising US government agencies on their tech stack.
Wow.
So a bunch of, naturally nerdy techie stuff that ends up leading you over to the blockchain. Um, and I was always a gamer, so it was
Awesome.
always, looking for the next game, what's exciting, what's going on. And I was a big fan. I've been a big fan for a long time of Alexis Ohanian and what he does. So I actually stumbled upon Axie Infinity after he invested in it in around March.
Very cool. So that was this March.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was your very first blockchain experience. You were working for Red Hat, enjoying life. Everything's great, and then all of a sudden, one of the folks that you follow, one of the influencers, Alex that you follow, he leads you. Had you already invested in any type of crypto, or literally you were, just learning about blockchain at this point with no investment?
Oh, I've been in blockchain or in crypto since like 2013, but
Okay.
I see like being in crypto a little different than being in blockchain, because to be in crypto, you don't really have to know much about blockchain. You don't really
Right.
have to, be deep in the weeds.
It
You don't
helps,
need,
but
yeah. So it's a little different. Yeah, I was, you know, playing with Bitcoin when it was like 250 bucks.
oh god.
Unfortunately, like
Whew.
unfortunately, I had paper hands back then. I was in college. So it was like, just buying and selling and trying to make beer money for the weekends and things like that.
Beer money. My man is selling
Yeah,
Bitcoin for beer. Listen,
it
listen,
was
listen. You
it's
had you
bad
had
to look back on.
paper hands, but diamond mindset. Because you know what? Regardless of how you traded your assets back then, you never lost the knowledge and the experience that you built, and I think that's obvious by where you are today.
Yeah,
So
and I
go
think
ahead.
like that was the thing with Bitcoin. It's like it wasn't as obvious to me the benefits and like functionality of what it would provide. Like obviously I understand the whole global currency and decentralization stuff, but it wasn't until I found Ethereum where I was like, okay, like I understand what's going on. This was like probably 2017 when some of these other coins started popping up and getting more popular, and that's when Ethereum caught my eye. And from that moment on, I was like telling everybody like Ethereum's it. Like we love
You were
Ethereum.
full shill.
Yeah. So I got into Ethereum in like 2017, but it wasn't until this year that I got into NFTs. And that
Nice.
started blowing up. So
So you're messing around with it in college. You're learning about crypto. You continue down your tech journey. You're always a gamer at this point. So you've been playing games your whole life, right?
oh yeah, I mean we had like growing up in my basement, like 5 years old, had Super Nintendo and we were playing, Super Mario Brothers. And
There
then
we
we
go.
had, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Xbox,
Now you're kind
everything.
of you're kind of young for Super Nintendo. You must have had some older siblings.
Yeah, my older brother. It was pretty much my older brother, and
Okay, okay.
whenever
I'm
he
like, you're
wasn't
not
up
as
and
old as
playing, I
me.
would.
You're
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
name dropping games from my generation. So I'm like, I mean, I had the original NES, the old school, the original NES. And then by the time Super Nintendo came out, my parents were like, "You play so many video games. No, we're not. We're not gonna
oh
buy you
no.
another one." So they did the opposite route where they did not encourage me to continue playing. But I think when you have the passion for gaming, it stays with you. So you start with that early start of gaming, being the younger sibling playing the older brother's games. So when did you start to develop your own passion for gaming that kind of led you down your own way?
I think it very much started early. I was talking to my mom about this the other day. I was like, I used to sneak downstairs in the middle of the night to play some Nintendo 64. And I used to like try to be as quiet as a mouse, get down there, get a few more hours of game time, during the
That's
summer. We
great.
didn't have school in the morning. And I was like, Mom, how did you know like that I was sneaking downstairs? She was like, it was too quiet. And I was like, darn, that's really where I messed up. I could have been louder.
They
But
like some of those parents. They put their hand on the back of the TV to feel the TV's warm. They're like, "Is it warm? Has the TV been running the last couple hours?"
yeah.
Oh
Yeah, and
man.
then like after that, one of the like crazy defining moments that like clicked of like how amazing this space is going to be was the first time I ever played Halo, like the original Halo,
Oh
because at
wow.
the time it was like very different than any other game that was out there. Like I was playing PC games and like nothing was really like a full-fledged first-person shooter to that extent. Like you had GoldenEye, which was, I loved GoldenEye,
Oh yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
past that, there was nothing like as crazy or as like mind-breaking as the original Halo. And
Sure.
that's kind of how I feel about the current state of like play to earn gaming and Axie Infinity and what's happening in this space. Like it's mind-breaking. I think it's going to be extremely disruptive and change and like set precedent for every other game that's going to be coming out in the future. So that's
I
why
was
I was
waiting for the
like,
term disruptive to come out. I was like, I know he's gonna say it. Here it comes.
yeah,
I was
I might
but
be
you're right. It's a
overusing that
perfect.
term.
It's no, it's the perfect word. So I'm gonna keep going through your history here. So you're playing games. You're playing in college. You're so both at the same time that you're experiencing Halo, because that's kind of like the 2013 era, somewhere in there. And then you're also, experiencing cryptocurrency, understanding, about investing, trading assets. Um, you graduate college. You're obviously still operating in both the tech sector, the gaming sector. I should say all three: gaming, tech, and the crypto area. Um, you're watching Alex Ohana. You get into Axie Infinity. So what obviously the light bulb, like I know you can see the writing on the wall, but probably the light bulb hasn't turned on yet. So let me hear about these early days of what was it like when you began your Axie journey?
Yeah, so just to clarify, Alexis Ohanian, he's the founder of Reddit,
Yep.
if you weren't aware. And also Halo came out in 2001, so
Ooh,
not as recent as you thought.
I'm old.
Um,
I'm really old. You gotta remember. I'm like sometimes I forget when I graduated college. Like I graduated college in 2008. Like, I'm old.
yeah. So yeah, no, I started getting into Axie Infinity because I saw, Alexis Ohanian invest,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw the video of like, hey, this game is like changing people's lives in the Philippines. People are able to earn like double their monthly income playing a video game, and like, the
Wow.
pandemic was, I mean, we're still in the middle of like all this stuff, and
Yeah.
these guys are finding supplementary income for jobs that have been lost. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Like I think I was playing like mostly Apex Legends and like Warzone at the time. And I was like, let me just check it out. And then
Chad
like
mode.
the moment I got in, I was like, all right, this is like, I'm hooked.
But
I'm
what was it?
in.
What was it about getting in that hooked you? You know what I mean? So like you get in, I mean, just getting in is a complicated process for those of you who aren't involved in Axies yet. Getting in, especially like for me, it was probably a bit easier. I didn't get in until July when Ronin sidechain was already a big thing. So I think if you got in early enough, I'm not sure if you got in pre-Ronin, but I know even just doing the research, buying the team, going down that rabbit hole. I mean, Axie is far deeper than most people even begin to understand, and you really can't understand until you get some skin in the game. So I mean, I'm really really interested in that those early days of Real Cabrera playing. You know, what was step one? You just started. You're watching videos. You see that you're helping. You see that people are bettering their lives, which is amazing to me. That was one of the early things you hooked on to. Um, but how did you even decide your first team?
Yeah, my first team was not any good.
I still have mine. I
But
still have mine. Look, I'll put mine up on the screen. My first team.
let's see it. But yeah, I mean, step one was like, by honestly, that's way better than my first team.
It wasn't
Um,
bad. It was, yeah. I mean, I did some work with this team. I couldn't break 1200 with this team, but let me hear about yours.
yeah, so I should have probably done some more research for the amount of money that was being put into the game. But
It's hard.
just talking through like the first steps. If you haven't done like wall-to-wall transfers before, if you haven't like switched to a different chain before, it's not easy. And I think actually that's like one of the points I think is going to have to be fixed before there's massive adoption for blockchain games.
Sure, sure.
Having like every time, even now, like moving money around between wallets, it's like while the transaction's being processed, it's like you're holding your breath and you're like,
Oh yeah, yep.
did I
Every time.
type it in right? Like
Did that Axie
it's
just disappear? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's like it's crazy, especially going from like, I have to go from Coinbase to buy ETH to MetaMask, And then for MetaMask, you have to use, the Ronin bridge to get into Ronin, and then you get in there, and then now I can buy my Axies. I'm still not even able to play the game yet. And I just
Right.
spent, depending on how long it took me to figure all that out,
Yeah.
30 minutes to an hour, just getting my money in. And then I'm like, all right, like, what do I buy now? And if it was so early back then, there was less than 50,000 users. There's no like real guides. There's no standard. I mean,
Wow.
there's people were talking about like aqua, plant beast bird back then. Like that
Mhm.
was a standard build. So I was like, all right, plant beast bird. Knowing nothing about the cards, I'm like, all right, 3 eggs. That's a plant egg. That's a beast egg. That's a bird
Oh
egg.
no.
Let's go. And yeah, then they hatched, and I tried to play some games with them, and I was like, oh, okay, this is bad.
So how much? So how much were Axies back then?
So I think I spent like 90 to 100 each. So that team cost me like $300
No, you're not
plus.
cheap. Not cheap.
Well,
When you're
also,
used to paying $60 for Halo to go play, all of a sudden now you're spending 300 and you're not even
yeah,
really sure, And
yeah,
SLP back then was probably like what, like 5 cents, like 4 cents? Had to be pretty
yeah.
cheap.
SLP was pretty low, and Ethereum was pretty high. I think that was like when Ethereum was around $4,000. So
Hmm.
like I probably, I guess, didn't spend as much if Ethereum on the get go, because like relative to the prices right now, I think it's like a few $100s cheaper now.
Yeah.
But like, as you, I think fees, like gas fees, were also like $150. So I was spending
Oh,
50% of what I was paying my team on just fees for moving stuff around. And
yeah.
I was moving in just enough to buy the Axies. So then when I realized the first Axies were bad, I had to spend another $150 to put more money in. And I was like, okay, this is like, I
This is a
have to
very
do this
typical
better.
experience you're describing too, because
Yeah.
this was my experience. This is your, I mean, obviously I had some more guides available to me because I was able to jump on and watch, all the existing player bases that had kind of already blew up. I was able to jump in, watch some of their guides, and even still, it's very hard to avoid the mistake of you're like, I just want to move in barely enough to do what I need to do. And then when you're like, oh, I need to do something else, and then you're like, oh, more gas.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to waste money, right? And
No,
you
no.
want to like, because you don't
Trying
want
to
to
make
have like,
money.
you don't want to have like $100 left over sitting there you don't know what to do with. And like getting into the game in the first place, when you're just trying to test things out, it's like
Yeah.
you're not sure if you're going to use that extra money.
Seems
um
insane that you're about to spend $300 to play a free game. You're like,
exactly.
I don't. It's such uncharted territory.
Yeah,
It's pretty wild, and I just want to take a second to kind of capture everything you just said and how complicated it is to get into the game. And then when you think of the number of users that the game has, do you know daily active users right now? I don't
it's
currently.
like 2 million.
So when you realize that the majority of those folks, some of them haven't set up accounts and they're scholars, but there's a large, even if only 50% of those people, even if there's a million players that have actually set up and got into the game, that is an insane number of people to jump in with the cost barrier, with the tech barrier, with the knowledge and the learning barrier. There are so many barriers to overcome to get into this game, and that really speaks to the excitement and the buzz around this game and just how much it generates.
I think it also speaks to how helpful like the original players were, and
Oh
in
yeah.
terms of like making guides, making YouTube videos, doing their Twitch streams and all this other stuff to walk people, like new people, through getting into the game.
Oh yeah.
Um, so like shout out to Dave versus Axie, and his YouTube videos. Shout out to Bryce, Elijah, like indies. They're all amazing content creators, and that's something I wish I would have done more and would still like to do more. It's just like trying to find time to do YouTube videos and Twitch streams, and manage all the scholars and do things for Ready Player DAO, and
And
take
then
care of
don't
Cooper.
forget, yeah, have some personal
Yeah,
time for yourself too.
yeah, exactly.
Don't
So
forget, eventually we all burn out if we don't spend some time relaxing and enjoying ourselves. Yeah, it's no, you're right. It's a full-time job. But I think you got the right mindset. You know what? You're focusing in on the part that you're particularly skilled at, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I think you're doing a terrific job. So, man, don't, you know, sometimes it's all about collaborating with others and delegating, but there's also building your brand, and that's going to be a team effort. So I think you and your team are doing a tremendous job putting the whole package together, because it is, everything's brand new. Every step you take is uncharted territory. Even if one or two people have gone down this path before, we're each kind of veering off in our own way. And you know what I mean? I think y'all need to really give yourselves a huge pat on the back for everything that you're doing. Because even if you are like generation 2 of the Axie community or Axie family, you're doing an amazing job, because, you know, Gen 1 came in, did all the early content creation, and everybody you just mentioned, I've watched their videos. This team that you're looking at right now is specifically a team from Elijah. This like
Oh,
these
nice.
this is his pick. Every single one of these is 110%. Like I watched hours of videos. I took pages of notes, wrote down prices, learned about breeding, did all these different things before I even jumped into the game. And
See, you're smarter than I am. I didn't do any of that. I was just like, all right, let's go.
hey, which one of us has 1,500 plus scholars? So let's not throw that smart word around too easily there. But you know, to keep moving through the conversation. So you know, I heard more about, you know, your early days in Axies, some of the easy mistakes to be made. So when is the moment that the light bulb kicks on that you're thinking, hey, I'm gonna go from just dipping my toe into the water to let's take a swim?
So originally I was like, all right, I want to be a top player, right? So
Okay,
I was
nice.
I was
Competitive.
like, yeah, I was like, all right, let's buy some like, higher tier Axies. This
Yep.
is like I started getting really active in the Discord. Indies was like great in the arena channel of the Axie Infinity Discord. Granted, there was a lot less people back then. So I was like chatting with him. I was like, what do you think about this? Like this one. I ended up getting to like top 1,000 that season.
Oh
I
wow.
had a nice disable sore back liner, which I actually gave to a scholar once I started building out my scholar program. So hopefully she's doing well with that. I had, and then I would switch between a tri spikes, grass snake, rep, in the mid, and a rimp nutcrack beast like you have here,
Hmm.
and then or a rimp energy beast. I mean, not rimp, a Ronin, Goda rice energy beast for energy control, and that's kind of the two teams I would switch between that helped me get up top. Back then, it was like a lot of AAP, which there's still a lot of AAP, but like when you have double rep going against double aqua, you should win. Like it should just with the mechanics of the game and like how reptiles can do additional damage and aquas do less, even though they're faster than you. Generally with the like reptile shield and damage that they have, you should be winning there. So that was kind of my approach. Like we can beat 80% of the teams with this combo, and then if we need to switch to energy control beast, then that's what we switch to, and then that takes off another few percentage chunks, and that's how I climb the ladder.
And
And then I realized,
your understanding right there is incredible. The ease that you talk about this is like, you know, like you've been playing it for 10 years, and you know what I mean? The way you can see the landscape and break it all down. That's pretty incredible. And I want to say, honestly, for those of you who aren't involved in creating teams, in, you know, to be a manager, you need to be able to build teams well, and you need to have a full understanding of all the card sets in the game. Rich just displayed an immense knowledge of the game, and with a very, very casual ease, you just kind of, oh, these 4 card sets on this one and this, you just, that was pretty incredible right there. So for those of you who aren't in Axies yet, you just got like a little mini dose of a master class of what it means to be able to be a manager, and some of the skills you need to be a great manager. All right, so continue. You're trying to get into, you break into the top 1,000. Obviously, at this point, you're deep into the community. You're talking to people in the Discord. You're having a ton of success on the leaderboard. And at this point, being top 1,000, how many players are we talking about? You said,
I think it was like by the end of the season, it climbed to like 100,000. So I mean, it wasn't
Wow.
like crazy like
Top
what we
1% of
have now.
players? That's
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still a lot more now, but still, at any point, being top 1% of a game that's globally played and played competitively for money, that's saying something. So when does it change for you and you start looking at the game a little bit different?
Yeah, I think what happened was like I was just spending so much money to try to get to the top and so much time like grinding, playing.
Yeah, you
And
must
like
be playing 60 matches a day at this point. Like,
yeah, I think I had like 40 to 60 energy.
I
Um,
mean, that's hours and hours of gameplay. And for those of you who haven't played, this isn't checkers. This isn't tic tac toe. This is like, you know, little cutesy battle chess.
yeah.
Like thinking 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. So yeah, so that's very taxing. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So I think like when I got to that point, I was like, okay, it's 60 energy. Like you said, it's hours and hours of
Oh
playing.
yeah, oh yeah.
So I have these extra Axies, and yeah, like I at first I was like, let me save some so I can like have my different teams that I can switch between. I was also like spending a lot more money on like higher quality Axies that will do better. Paying more attention to speed and damage and health and all this
Stats.
other
Yeah.
stuff. Stats, exactly.
Step 1, type. Step 2, card sets. Step 3, stats. That is the evolution of the Axie player. It's not until you hit step 3 that you really start kicking butt too, because like you go up against, there's a lot of metas in the game. When you go up against a similar meta of your own, like stats are going to be big.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also when I start getting a lot more expensive.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. Purity and expense. Yep. So all right. So
and then I,
continue.
and then I was like, all right, let's like take a step back and like make the realization that we have way more axes than we need to do what we want to do, right?
Yeah, we have assets
And
just sitting there idle.
yeah, at this point, I had joined a guild just because I wanted to, share. I wanted to have people to like share advice with, and
Yeah.
this guild had a few top 50 players, top 100 players. So like chatting with them and doing other stuff, and then they were doing scholars, um, and you know, just seeing all the people in their Discord asking for scholarships and like showing that they understood the game and like understood the rules that were being put in place, etc. I was like, you know what, I could 100% do a scholarship right now. Like I have the access for it, and I want to help people out. And that's when I saw like my first scholar, Kenneth, in the chat, just making sure people were like following the rules and not spamming and like just being a good person and like trying to
So this
help people
person wasn't
out.
even playing. They didn't
He
even have a
wasn't
team,
even playing. He was still looking for a scholarship.
but
So
helping mod the Discord.
yeah, pretty much.
That's incredible. Create.
Um,
I just want to pause real quick. Create value and ask for none. I'm telling you, everybody that's watching right now, that is one of the keys to life. Everywhere you go, create value and just wait, and good things will happen. So go on. So you see your first scholar.
yeah, so I hit him up and I'm like, hey, are you looking for a scholarship? Like this is not part of the guild, right? This will just be me and you doing this. I want to like figure out how to do it and make sure I'm doing everything right. And like I think people were paying like 60-40 around there, like 60 to the scholar. And I was like, how about like if you reach X like 2000, I think I'll give
Sure.
you 70%.
Nice.
And he was like, all right.
Let's
The guy
go.
hits like 2500 or something, like blows it out of the water for the first 2 weeks, which back then, like the first 2 weeks, getting 2000 was tough. You really had to be grinding, because you'd have to like level up your axes in adventure, and everybody was telling you like, okay, the first week just focus your energy
Yeah.
on adventure, so you're not earning as much in arena. He just crushed it, and like to this day he still always has been one of my top 5 scholars, even at 1500 scholars. He's like, if I do
He's just a
a
natural.
rank, he's just incredibly good. You
Wow.
know,
Wow.
he's like regularly over 400 SLP a day average. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, no, he's still crushing it. He's a
This man's
great
about to quit
dude.
his day job. He's like, what do I need a day job for? I got Axie money. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Um,
That's crazy.
yeah, and then from there it was like, all right, like I'm meeting great people on like Twitter because I started tweeting about starting my scholarship program. I left that other guild because I wanted to do things my way.
Sure,
I
sure.
wasn't really a fan of, you know, how things were being done. Like I had my own opinion on how to run a
Yeah.
scholarship. You know, don't make them feel like numbers. Don't make them feel like, you know,
Make it a
people that are just
family.
there to grind. Yeah, exactly. And that's when I started RSS Family. Right.
That's so cool, man.
I was getting to know Kenneth. I was getting to know like closely all my early scholars. Ray was another one. Vince was another one. Axie artist, which is like all these people I'm still pretty close with, you know, even at 1,500 scholars. And that was the goal. Like, you know, I'm trying to build lasting relationships with these people. I'm trying to build them up, help them out, coach them, you know, do all this other stuff. And that's how I wanted to run my scholarship. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm separating from the previous guild, and I'm just gonna do this my way.
That's cool, man.
And from there, it was just like, all right, how do I make more scholarships? Take all my SLP like from the scholars, breed it out, you know, turn it back into more scholarships. Um, you know, buy more Axies when I can. I was like slowly just dumping paycheck after paycheck, more money
Oh, so you're not so
into.
you're continuing to invest at this point, you're not just using your earnings from the game, you're still continuing to put your own hard-earned money into the game.
Yeah, yeah. So
Wow. So you're at this point, the light bulbs come on, you're getting addicted to helping people, creating this awesome community of folks all working together, sharing their experiences, growing, bonding, and earning. So empowering your community, at this point it sounds like the hook is already set they got you on the line. Like you are loving it. Is that accurate to say?
yeah, yeah. I think at this point I was like 7 grand in Axie.
So what is your
Uh,
family? You have to be. I'm at this point. Are you like obsessively talking about it to anybody who will listen in your real life?
oh yeah, I still talk to my brother. I mean, at this point, AXS was like $3, right? And if you look at AXS right now, it's like 120.
Ooh, it's
And
nice right now. It's
my
nice right
brother
now.
came by, yeah, my brother came by yesterday, and I was like, "Hey, remember when I was telling you to buy Axie Infinity and AXS way back in May?" I was like, "Yeah, it's up like 77,000% on the year." So,
Oh gosh,
but yeah, like
told you
you
so.
know,
Told you so, big bro.
yeah, I mean that's just part of being in a competitive family. You got to rub it in every now and then.
You know what? Hey,
Um,
friendly competition really helps. Really helps us all grow.
yeah. So like 2 months go by of this, right? And then we're like mid-July,
Oh,
and I'm
that's
like,
it. That's the boom.
yeah, I'm like, you know what? This was not easy to get into. It's not easy to get started. It takes a lot of time to manage scholars. I
Mm-hmm.
probably had like 20-ish scholars at this point, like super excited about hitting 20. And I send out a tweet and I'm like, you know, let me send out a feeler. Anybody that wants to invest in Play to Earn Gaming or Axie Infinity, I'm looking to bring on investors. Um,
You're never like terrified. Like I'm gonna lose everybody's money. Never dawn. Like, cause I gotta say, like, man, you have a lot of courage, a lot of ambition. That's a really difficult thing to do. A lot of people, myself included, would be terrified. So I mean, how do you even get past that fear of I'm gonna lose all these investors' money?
um, you know, I would have one-on-one conversations with all the early investors. So, you know, we would jump on a voice call and break it down for them. Like, look, you know, this is NFTs. I think one of them out of like the first 6 or so investors that I got pre Ready Player DAO, which we ended up offboarding all of them to build out Ready Player DAO because we didn't want, conflict of interest or anything.
Sure.
Only one of them asked for a contract.
Wow.
So yeah, everything
kept it nice and simple, clean, friendly.
And I think that speaks very much to like the NFT space and crypto space. The amount of times in the conversations, because I offered them to people, I'm like, if you want to feel more comfortable, like this other investor did a contract, and I can just copy it over for you. And the amount of people that were just like, no, dude, this is the crypto space. Like the amount of deals that I've done,
wow.
And it's just a handshake, and it's like, I trust you, you trust me, we know each other. That's what we're gonna go with. And I'm like,
incredible.
All right.
Incredible.
Like, and that's like one of the things people talk about community all the time. And like in the NFT space is probably with one of the strongest, like most trustful communities. And you don't really see people ripping people off that often, right? Like I'm sure, yeah, there's a few cases here and there,
right?
But there's a lot of trust in this space. And as you like, the deeper you get embedded in the space, the more people trust you, and you don't see people rugging each other. So I think, man, like, I think that's an awesome piece of what's going on as well.
So if you feel comfortable, and if at any point I ask a question that's too sensitive, don't ever feel like, hey, like I can't reveal that. I'm just curious, with your first round of investors, when you're doing it just as your the Ready, I don't know what you called your original. Was it originally the Real Scholar School?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So when you're doing the Real Scholar School, what was the total level of investing that you were able to raise for kind of just your solo project here?
It was very much piecemeal, depending on like who the people were. I think in total we were at like 50,000 invested.
Wow, that's incredible.
And actually my dad was one of the ones that put in a good amount of money as well. So
that's a good dad.
Yeah. I mean, once I started showing him the returns, it was he was like, all right, let me send more.
But you know what? Just to take that blind leap in your son, that's big heart right there. And I think that probably says a lot about where you get your fundamentals from, and the way you're willing to take a chance on folks. It's probably something you learned from your family, man. So congratulations, you got an amazing family, and I see that it's obviously in your DNA to be that kind of person, man. That's really cool. So continue about the investors.
Yeah, no. So, but actually, like the majority of the investments were from random people that I met on Twitter, have never met in real life, and have never even seen their face to this day.
Wow, that's incredible.
So, which was pretty crazy, like, and which is awesome.
A group of blockchain enthusiasts just casually pooling together $50,000 without contracts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unreal. I mean, that's unheard of. Where do you, aside from the blockchain industry, where do you hear a story like that?
No, nowhere. No, it's insane. Yeah. So like 2 weeks go by, right? And it's doing very well. We're growing like super fast. I like hashed out the best way to, scale this thing and manage it and keep everybody's investments and wallets separate. Doing all that stuff, multiple Google Chrome instances and profiles, and set up like a Google domain. And just like from my experience as an architect, I drew a lot from that by like taking a step back.
Knowledge building on knowledge.
Yeah, let's look at this. How are we going to scale it? The best way to approach it, like, because I'm starting to get a good amount of money here and starting to manage. I think we grew to like, I want to say close to 100 scholars before we really started doing Ready Player DAO. So this is like mid-July, and then Ready Player DAO conversations started happening at the end of July, being August. So if we want to dive into the next chapter, I can
Yeah. So for
talk
those,
about how that happened.
yeah, man. So the only slight detour I want to take is, when did you decide that you wanted to be a content creator? And you know, obviously you do the streams. I think you do. Do you? I don't know if it's you or some of your scholars that have made some YouTube videos and stuff. But when did you decide? Hey, was it just a natural, like, hey, I have to do this, or was there a desire to do it? You know, what led you into the streaming and being a bigger influencer?
Oh, I didn't decide that. My scholars decided it. They were like, because I think at that point, I may or may not have been doxxed yet. And I think it was around like my birthday, and they were like, "Oh, sir, you should stream. Like, we want to see your face. Like, face reveal when face
Oh, that's
reveal."
so cool.
Um, so I think like the week of my birthday, which is July 13th, right around when all this stuff was happening,
Yeah.
pulling in investors and all that. I was like, all right, you guys keep demanding me to stream. You guys want face reveal. I'll do it. Whatever. I'll figure it out. Never streamed before.
Man, you can't keep a handsome face like that hidden for long. The people want to see you, man.
uh yeah, and then like the amount of like love and support you get while you're streaming is
Oh,
like overwhelming, and I just had so much fun doing it, that I was like, all right, this is a thing now.
I mean, you're
um
a natural at it too. You're terrific. I always enjoy watching your streams, and I can see your audience. I'm by no way am I in the minority of people in there enjoying the stream, because everybody's having fun, getting you to dance, getting you to do the daddy chill, getting Cooper on screen, getting you to dance with your dog Cooper. Like it is a blast. It really is a lot of fun.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, I try to make it fun because like, I've watched streams before where it's just like, all right, you're playing this video game, and you're just
Yeah.
going through it, and it's not that fun to watch. Like, I can just go play the video game at this point, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not like doing awesome plays, playing with new teams,
Hmm.
doing some crazy stuff, like I play with a mystic, which is like, you know,
Very rare.
insane if you
Yeah.
sit back and think about what's going on. This guy's playing with over $100,000 on stream, in form of an NFT, and it's actually winning. Like, I think like that's part of why I picked Poseidon. I was like, this is an awesome Axie, more so than just a mystic, right? So there's more to it. I also like love the way Poseidon looks, um, and love like what you can do with it. It's got reptile parts, it's got an aqua part, and it's got beast parts. So that hits every piece of the damage triangle that you see, um, for being able to play against a lot of different teams and working well with any comp. So that's the background and like thought process behind Poseidon, why we picked him, why I picked him, and like why I suggested that one to
Real,
Ready
real
Player
quick,
DAO.
I just wanted to explain to everybody. So, like, there are all different types of Axies that exist. But Rich, help me out here. Some of the early ones, is that where the Mystics got created? They were very early. There's very few of these Mystic Axies, and they cost thousands times more than your standard Axie. So, like, if your standard Axie could be like $150, like a floor market value one, what would be an average cost of a Mystic Axie?
Well, the floor cost of a Mystic Axie is around 30 ETH, which is like $100,000.
Yep,
So
Squirrel, another awesome Axie streamer. Squirrel just chimed in the chat and said the same thing. 109K at the moment. Thank you, Squirrel. And if any of my VRPs are around, can you give Squirrel a shout out for me, please? Thank you. Thank you, Squirrel. Always good to see you, my friend. So yeah, man. So was Poseidon Ready Player DAO, or was that pre Ready Player DAO?
Poseidon is definitely Ready Player DAO.
Okay. So that's future stuff. So let's all right. Let's slow down before we get into that kind of stuff. So let's jump right into how you get started. So you're the Real Scholar School. You're enjoying stuff. You've taken on some investors. It's almost like a whole new light bulb has turned on. It seems like there was your initial dive into Axies, and then there's this light bulb moment where it's like, cool, I can help people make some money, play some games, build a fun community, all the things I love to do. And then it's almost like you take the dial and crank it up way brighter, and the bulb gets even brighter. And all of a sudden the idea gets born in your head. Let's create a DAO. So can we for a second, can you just kind of talk about how you learned about DAOs and how you began deciding to co-found your own DAO? Because I think there's a lot of folks who really don't even know what a DAO is. So why don't we take a second and explain to folks what it is? And I'm going to let you do that since you're a co-founder of one and I'm a person who reads white papers on them. I think it'd be better to hear it from you.
Yeah, so a DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization, DAO. And essentially, I'm just going to speak to it very high level. Essentially, it's a flat organization, right? So like traditionally you have a hierarchy of like CEO and like managers and then like the employees, something like that. A DAO is going to be more flat where everybody has, same voting, um, and everybody makes decisions together on what you're going to do, as a group of people. So it's kind of, think of it like of a brain trust where, these people are putting their funds together
Yeah.
to be able to do something that maybe they wouldn't be able to do individually. And so it's a collection of funds and a collection of brains to achieve a certain purpose, right? And that can be applied. It doesn't have to be like a company, right? It doesn't have to be an investment fund. It can be applied in a lot of different ways. And it doesn't have to be in crypto, right? You can use like that structure to do other things. But for the
It's almost just like creating
decentralized,
a hierarchy, a decentralized, not, well, I guess hierarchy is a wrong word considering it's flat.
yeah, yeah. So the opposite of a hierarchy. Think of like
Don't listen to Chavio, listen to Real Cabrera.
think of like the Knights of the Round Table, right? Like
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
exactly. So there's no like head of table. It's all together. The meme,
Round
everybody puts the
table.
swords in.
Everybody gets a
Um,
seat.
exactly. And no one's like specifically in charge. And can make decisions on behalf of the company by themselves, right? There's a voting structure that needs to happen.
So kind of similar
Um,
to like a board, you know what I mean? Like a board of associates or a board of investors in traditional companies where there's like a board that kind of oversees it and they have voting rights.
yeah,
But now
yeah. So,
decentralized and able to
but then
apply to
you,
anything.
right, and then you throw the decentralized part of it in, right? And that's where like voting on like using smart contracts for voting and
So
being public and using the blockchain and the ledger. That's where a lot of that like comes in, right?
creating full
Um,
transparency. Love it.
exactly. And then all of the um, all of the voting is done through that smart contract, so it's locked in, um, and provable, right? There's no way to lie about it or hack it, and you have to stick to the votes that are happening. So very, very high level, like that's what a DAO is. And if you guys have questions, if I did a bad job explaining that,
No,
please
I
let me
think you
know.
did. I think the round table. When you talk about it as a round table, there's no head of the table. There's no centralized leader. Everybody gets a vote. It's all equal. I think that does a terrific job of explaining kind of in very simple terms. Okay, so that's what a DAO is. So how does the real Cabrera start thinking about like maybe I should start a DAO? Was it your idea? Was it a group of people talking? How does all that happen?
So I definitely don't want to take credit for that. There's a lot of people that are smarter than me in our DAO that came up with that. But originally, what happened was, one of my investors had had some other friends in the NFT space, and those other friends saw what was going on with Axie Infinity, and were interested in like being a part of it. So that he ended up putting us in touch. And originally it was like 10 people. We jumped on a call, and they kind of like interviewed me, asked me what I thought about the landscape and like where things were going with Axie Infinity, um, and all this other stuff, right? And I think for some reason I got them excited about it, and they told their other friends, and the ball started rolling and ended up being around 37 people that were like, all right, we're going to put a ton of money together and we're going to form a DAO.
37 members. Wow.
Yeah. And we end up having like one of like the leading experts on DAOs, I would say, Aaron Wright, who owns a company that helps people form DAOs called Open Law, which is now Tribute Labs, which is hiring, by the way. I just shared a tweet about that yesterday. He's the one that set everything up for us, made sure we did everything in a regulatory manner, make sure we were legit, and formed through an LLC. And they're finalizing like setting up our smart contract and getting us a website going. Like, they're awesome. Huge shout out to Aaron Wright and like Open Law and everything that
really cool. So you made sure you had the proper foundation in place before you kind of started rapid expansion.
Yeah, exactly.
Really cool.
And like he's done this before, so it helped us a lot, right?
Oh, that's really good idea to have a team. I mean, I think the best part of this DAO you created is you have all these people who are experts in different areas, all compiling their knowledge again at this round table where somebody doesn't have to sit back and say, well, I don't want this. I'm not an equal member here. I'm a smaller member. I don't want to share my full value of knowledge. By giving everybody equal ownership of this organization, everybody has full incentive to create 110% of their value and put it all in. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, and that's why we call ourselves a brain trust, right? I mean, we have people with backgrounds in law, people with backgrounds in gaming, people with backgrounds in a slew of things, brand, all this other stuff. We have,
that's really cool.
Larger firms that also have seats in there, or people representing larger firms. Other DAOs are in our DAO. So it's like a DAO of DAOs. People
DAO
like to joke around. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, there's a lot going on in there, and that's something that I like to talk about a lot. Like, I come from the open source community, so like Red Hat, if you're aware of them, they take open source projects and package them in a way to be able to be used by enterprise companies. And they're very active in the open source community and like huge supporters of it. And something that comes out of the open source community that I learned and like from working at Red Hat is how much more successful a company is when it has diversity. So because what happens is you bring a slew of different viewpoints from different backgrounds to tackle the same problem. So you're able to have several different approaches on, solutions to that problem. And then you can pick the best one through the voting mechanism.
Yeah. It's like, instead of having one toolbox, you got 100.
Exactly. So, I mean, we have people from, Australia, South America, the US, England, Ireland, Europe, everywhere, with this slew of different backgrounds, like Latinos, Asians, men, women, etc. And I think a lot of that is what makes us successful and is able to, help us go the directions that we need to go to.
It's really cool. So the investing for the DAO, does it come directly from the members, or do you then venture out and bring in, other types of venture capitalists or other types of investors?
Yeah, so it's both. To this point, everything's been internal. So like our initial treasury was all from the founding members.
Wow.
So we hadn't done a raise yet, but we are going through one right now, which I'm very, very excited about. And it's the same idea, right? We don't just want a blank check from a random VC that's gonna just cash in on what we're doing. We want to add to our brain trust. So we're actually being extremely selective on the people we're allowing into the DAO, and even turning some people away. So
open enrollment is over for Ready Player DAO. It is now by invitation only. Love it, man. I mean, that's a terrific place to be. And I think it also shows I don't think it shows at all that you're trying to be exclusive. I think what it shows is that you're trying to protect what you've built, and you can't just let anybody in who's like, I couldn't care less what you're doing. I just want to make money. I think it's good that you kind of keep those folks at arm's length, and the people you let in are people who are grounded in the community, invested in the community, and want to see the long-term success of the community and aren't looking for the quick dollar. I think that's
Yeah,
huge, huge.
exactly. And like, you know, the crypto space itself is a meritocracy, right? And we want to maintain, Ready Player DAO is a meritocracy. So it's like,
What is that word you're using? I don't know what that means. Help me out
so
there.
yeah, so meritocracy is like an entity that runs and rewards people with merit. And essentially, like, by that we say, like, depending on what you do, we're going to reward you. So it's not like how much money are you willing to throw at me, it's how much are you willing to put in. And if you're willing to put in and make a difference and make changes, then we're going to reward you, right?
I love it.
So
I
like,
know I can't be the only one who didn't know what that meant either. I know some of you in chat didn't know what that means. So don't sit there and act like you knew and I didn't know. Continue.
no, absolutely. And like, that's actually one of the things I like the most about my time at Red Hat, because they try to run as a meritocracy. And I've worked at other companies that were very political, and it was like who you knew, not what you did. And I'm a big fan of what you did, what you're doing, what value you're providing. And obviously, like, value can be provided in different ways, but as long as we focus on the value and not, your check size that you can write and run away with, or who you knew to get into where you're at and to get to where you're at, I think it's going to be a lot more successful than other companies that do it that way.
And I'm so happy to hear you say it in those exact words too, because I preach create value, create value, create value. It is literally the number one thing you could do when you're trying to grow, whether it's your personal brand, you're trying to grow your personal network, or whether you have a business and you're trying to grow that, or you have a DAO. Like, just create value everywhere you go. So Rich, man, I'm so happy to hear you say it just like that, that you guys are rewarding folks that come in and create value. You're not looking for a blank check, that there is more at stake here than just monetary terms. Really cool.
Yeah. And like, the other thing was, we didn't want, like, a handful of large VCs to come in, write checks, and run away. We wanted people that were going to come in and add value, because we're still in the building phase. We're still like I mentioned, we just started conversations about Ready Player DAO on August 1st, right? So we're really not that far along. We're still building. We're still trying to get to where we want to be. So we don't want blank checks. We want people that are going to help us get there. So that's what we're focusing on this round, and why we're keeping it private. And I'm sure, like, in the future, we'll have, an open round where the community can join. We're just not there yet. So I don't want to make
that's long-term vision here. You know what I mean? You're turning away the big money to take on the core community members who really want to add value. And I think that kind of fits right in line with the way you play Axies. Is when you're looking 5, 6, 7 moves ahead when you play the game, you're doing the same thing as you create this DAO, and it's really cool to see, man. I think that is just ingrained in who you are, and I think it's gonna take you really far, because you're not looking for the quick move. You're really looking 10 moves ahead, so you can make sure you're doing the best thing for what you're building. It's really, really cool to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, like, that can be the downfall of a lot of people that are trying to build in the space. I've seen a lot of, like, short-term thinking, not looking at the big picture, and I think that can mess people up. And also, like, there's a lot of instant gratification that occurs in NFT space, right? You see the, like, when people playing on price actions on the daily, like, doing more trading instead of focusing on the long term. And, like, put it in Axie terms. If you would do that, like, if you bought AXS at 5 and, like, sold it at, like, 8, how much would you have missed out on, right? You gotta, if you're gonna invest, right? Focus on what the company is doing, and if you trust them, stay with them, and you would have reaped so many more rewards doing it that way than if you're constantly trying to flip and make a quick buck. Um, and I think like that's something that happens a lot in the NFT space where people are like trying to flip NFTs
They follow the
and
hype. Yep.
exactly. And you can miss out on a lot. So like my advice would always be to find quality and invest in quality, right? So stay with them. If you like the team, you like the team, right? So stay with them and trust them to build out and make a success out of you.
And again, this is another thing that I preach to folks. I have like a couple big rules that I tell everybody. The biggest rule is always don't invest money that you don't have to lose. But the second rule is you have to know exactly who the team is that you're investing in. That is more important than the hype that surrounds the project, is the core values of the team, where they come from, what their experiences are. So it's great to hear you say that as well. And then my third big rule is always, how do I get my money back out? And I think if you're following a great team, they kind of lay the plan out there for you. So rule number 2 and 3 kind of are like almost hand in hand, where it's like a good team also just clearly shows you your exit strategy from their project, but then explains to you all the reasons that it's worth it to stay in. So I'd love to hear you saying these things, because I really think they are the core of creating a great community of gamers and investors that are, empowering themselves and impacting their lives.
Yeah, and it goes back to like the whole meritocracy thing, right? Because
I know what that means now.
Yeah, when you're looking at these projects and these games, it's less about how much money did they raise. It's more about what have they done, what are they doing, and what are they planning to do, and who's the team behind it, right? So
you can even take that to a macro view, right? I mean, look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin financially has done more, but if you look at the social implications and the social impact of Ethereum, it far exceeds the abilities of Bitcoin, its predecessor.
Yeah, 100%.
Social impact.
That's exactly the way I've always looked at Bitcoin versus Ethereum, which is why I ended up selling all my Bitcoin for more Ethereum.
Savage.
So I know some people will yell at me for that, but
no,
I'm looking at my value and what I see on the long-term vision, and I like Ethereum and I like the NFT space and everything that's happening here. So
really cool, man. So do you want to talk more about these early stages of the DAO? I mean, we could talk about a couple different things. We haven't touched on kind of like the early ability of investing amounts and things. We can touch on that, or we can kind of move forward into what that DAO is growing into now, because those are big topics, both of them. So I'll kind of let you pick which one of those you'd rather jump into next.
It's up to you. What are you interested in hearing about?
I mean, I love hearing about lots of different things. So, I mean, I'm a big metrics guy, so I always like to know numbers. What were the first round that you guys all were able to not raise from outside sources, but that first round of your treasury. What were you able to raise, and then how many scholars did you turn that into?
So we originally raised around 1,500 ETH.
Holy.
Yeah, which was my reaction too. Which is around like around like $5 million between the original 37 members. Yeah, we have some pretty large members of the DAO. I feel like at the early stages, we didn't really talk about some of our larger members, but I feel like we're far enough and people know enough now to where I can shout some of them out. But I already mentioned like Aaron Wright, who's in all those massive DAOs. We have the NFT attorney, who's doing a lot of great things on trying to build out like a tax NFT advisory series. I haven't seen specifics around that, but like immense amount of value there. We have G Money, who's huge in the NFT space. So he provides like immense value, connections and value. We have the Land Vault team, which helps us with our like metaverse land strategy. So like we've been working in buying Axie land. We've been talking about Sandbox. We've been doing a few other things. We have a guy who works for a major brand on the brand side of things, which helps us, with our logo design and like all this other stuff, making it look cool and helping us grow there. It's just like a slew of very like smart, influential people that are, have been pretty successful to date. So they were able to, find that conviction and essentially invest in the DAO, right? The same way I talk about investing in teams that you know and trust. These are all people that are known and trusted in the NFT space that were looking to make a difference in the player and gaming space. So yeah, 5 million to get started, 1,500 ETH, and probably 70% of that is going to scholarships, land, AXS, etc. For Axie Infinity, and the last 30% might be some speculative bets into other upcoming play to earn games. But right now, with Axie Infinity being, proved and trusted, we're putting a lot of that into Axie Infinity because we trust the team.
So let's start to talk about impact to scholars. Like, how many scholars did you raise, and when did you start seeing like big community impact for the scholars' lives, and seeing like, hey, like not only are we creating a DAO, not only are we, creating this essentially online company where we're making money together, but man, we're doing amazing work where we're helping people around the world better their lives through our common passion of gaming.
Yeah, so that's something that I've advocated for a ton, right? Making sure that we're working with our scholars. There's a lot that's in the works that I'm trying to get set up to advocate for them even more.
That's cool.
I guess we can drop some chica on your stream.
What does that mean?
So chica is like a Filipino slang for like a secret or a leak kind of.
Okay.
Right. And if I know I have some scholars in the chat, so if I explain that wrong, you guys can correct
Now
me.
they're saying, let's go chica. I see them.
Yeah. So like things that I want to do to help like empower our community and our scholars. Like I've held 2 competitions already and do like big SLP giveaways from that. I want to set up a Ready Player DAO art program. We have a lot of talented people, talented scholars in Ready Scholar School that I want to see, and I want to see them like being rewarded for their talents, right? So the NFT space can be very rewarding for great artists.
Oh yeah.
So I want to, support them in that. And I'm, talking to Ready Player DAO about, putting some money up to like get that thing going and start building out, a little art studio for Ready Player DAO scholars. And,
That's so cool.
If a sale can change someone's life in one of these, pieces of art that they make that we turn to NFT and throw on, OpenSea or Foundation or wherever.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing. That's awesome. We don't want to see starving artists anymore. We want to see thriving artists. Like let's make them happy. Let these people pursue their passions, because that's the whole point of, earning an income, right? You earn that income so that you can pursue your passion, or maybe, eventually turn that passion into your income.
That's the dream. There it is, right there. The dream of blockchain gaming, turning your passions into your income. That's it.
Yeah, so that's one of the goals, like, and I think there's a lot to be built on top of that. We also want to start giving our scholars NFTs for just being a scholar in Ready Scholar School and Ready Player DAO. So we're trying to figure out a way to like custom build our own scholar NFTs that they can have. We're just trying to figure out the best way to go about it. Probably do it on like Polygon for low fees. And like maybe that's something that they can also gift to their friend, which can turn into like a scholar invite into Ready Player or Ready
Oh
Scholars for
yeah,
Ready
like a
Player
white
DAO.
glove invitation into. That's
Yeah,
really cool, man.
yeah,
That's really cool seeing all of it integrate, you know?
yeah, and then like that way, if maybe they don't want to gift it, maybe they want to sell it, right? And someone's wanting to buy an entry or something like that.
Yeah.
That part gets really tricky. Like I don't want people
Yeah,
to
it
be
can. It
buying
can.
access to scholarships, but that's why I say we're like still thinking through it. Maybe we'll just do like, you gift these NFTs, or it's just a badge of honor of having that in your wallet. Um, and I also understand that like, while the scholars have Ronin wallets, maybe not all of them have MetaMask. So these are
Oh
all
yeah.
things that we're still thinking through and trying to figure out the best way to approach. Um, and then maybe even like different upgrade NFTs for mods and community mods. We shared I don't know if you saw that the AR goggles. Did you see those? The video that we put out.
Oh yeah, check it out.
So that's
For
gonna
that.
be a reward.
Boom, there they are.
Yeah, that's gonna be a reward for if you want to play the video, you can.
Yeah, man. I was gonna say let's take a sec. Let's play the video. All right, let me get this up here a little. I don't want to blow everybody out with the volume. So I'm gonna ask you about 1,000,000 questions after this. So get ready.
Hey guys, how's it going? We've got Cultivate's first VR glasses design, specifically made for Ready Player DAO scholars. The whole idea here is we wanted to give scholars the ability to showcase their Axies and other player-specific information in a cool, unique way. So as you can see, we've got specific name information we can populate. We can showcase their specific 3 Axies that they play with. In this case, we've got Cabrera's 3 favorites. But really, the sky's the limit here. So let me know what you guys think. And yeah, the whole idea is eventually, we want to reward players with wearables based on their performance. So top performers of the week get cool wearables like this. So look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts. Thanks. Hey.
Dude, that is unreal. Like, so how do you guys even dream this up? Because that is like so far beyond where the average, like, you got a guy like me. I love the content creation, I love the streaming, I love the blockchain, I love the community building, I love it all. But when you start venturing into that realm over there of VR, AR, wearable rewards for scholars, like, let's just use the phrase moon. You're passing the moon, you're on your way to Mars, buddy. Like, so how on earth did this whole thing come about?
That is all Cultivate. And this like goes back to like being a brain trust, having access to people with like various backgrounds.
So Cultivate is in the DAO?
Yeah. So Cultivate's a DAO member. He's awesome. He kind of just like hit me up and was like, dude, I have this awesome idea. Let's create like AR VR NFT wearables for like the future of the metaverse, right? Like, I don't know.
They look super cool too. I mean, I want one now. Like, I want one.
Well, the thing is, like, I don't know if it's obvious, and a lot of people told me that it's not, but that is not a physical thing on his face. Like, that's all AR. That's not actually like it's not like my headset where you can take it off. It's AR. But it's like something you could wear in the metaverse, like on whatever you're using to display yourself in the metaverse. This is like very much forward thinking. We probably hand them out as like NFTs.
So like in-game wearables. So this would be what, used somewhere like Decentraland?
Yeah, Decentraland, Sandbox, or
so your character is just walking around wearing this Ready Player DAO headset, and it's got its Axies on the front. So as soon as somebody sees that, they see you, they're like, whoa, not only does that character over there have, that avatar have an amazing accessory on them, but additionally I can see, oh, they're an Axie player. Cool, I play Axies. Let's go talk to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like, you win that as a reward for being a top scholar, providing value, etc. And if that's an NFT, that's also something you can say like, oh man, people want this and I earned this and I can sell it. and that's another way
That's
for
really cool.
scholars to, make money just by being a scholar and providing value to RSS.
I'm going to take a quick question from Squirrel. Squirrel's asking, is it open source?
I am not sure. So
Details to come.
if I can explain like how Cultivate, like how this came into be, and like it kind of blew my mind when I first saw it. Cultivate hit me up. He's like, I got this awesome idea for these AR wearables. Like I want to do something
AR wearable.
that ties back to like Ready Player One. Like eventually I think he wants to build more where it's not just a headset like other wearables. And he's like, I have an idea of like displaying the scholar's name and displaying like their Axies and stuff like that. He's like, can you send me like 3 of your favorites and I'll like set this up and like just do a demo and like show what it looks like.
Cool.
And we can figure out, like how to hand them out and how to scale it out and stuff like that. And then he just pops in our Discord with this video and everybody's like, whoa, this is like mind-blowing, way cooler than we thought. You like not to like say we had low expectations, but like even if we had high expectations, this is even better than that. Like
it's pretty amazing
how realistic that AR headset looks. Like it's tricked half the people that's seen it into thinking
I can't believe
like
he's not actually
object.
I thought he was actually wearing. I can't believe he's not actually wearing that headset. That's wild.
Yeah, and the whole like touch integration of changing the screen and how it interacts with the headset.
Right, that's not editing trickery.
Glare.
That's him actually controlling it on his own. That's wild, dude. That's wild.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, so that's just some of the stuff that you guys are coming up with. Are there any other future products or projects that Ready Player DAO is working on that you guys are just, kind of over the top excited about that you can talk about now?
Yeah, one of the things that I'm looking to help solve is like there's an issue with scholars receiving their payouts, right? Like obviously they can get it to their running wallet, but then they have to transfer it to Binance or Ethereum. Binance built that direct chain bridge to get it over there, but that's been down. Like there's a bunch of issues around it. So like that's something that we want to solve for our scholars. Like scholars should not have to pay gas fees, like insane gas fees that could be just as much as their payout. If
that's
not
very,
more,
very problematic right now.
To get their payouts. So that's something that we want to put money into solving. We're talking with different wallets that are looking to do some solutioning there. And like, we're talking with Axie Infinity to see if we can get something set up for that, and other large people in the space that have the ability to make a difference there, and trying to see where we can help. So yeah, and the other things, like we also want to support our scholars in other things they want to do. So like not everybody's an artist. I'm not an artist. Like if I wanted to put out an awesome NFT project, I'm not talented enough to do that.
You have to go hire an artist.
Yeah, so like we also want to support our scholars that maybe want to do streaming that are just gamers. Like you can just be a gamer. You don't have to have a slew of other talents, right?
Sure, yeah.
So like I want to help our scholars start streaming, maybe making YouTube videos, which I know some have. We have some scholars that are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. So we want to
the Ready Player DAO army.
Yeah, we want to support them there and help them out and make sure they're going to be successful in what they want to do. So a few different things that we want to help out with and help support.
So let's now talk future. What is the future of Ready Player DAO? Where do you guys, I mean, obviously you guys have your ambitions and your sights set incredibly high. And I know I don't want you to give away, obviously it's a very competitive space. So you can't give away too much, because if people know what you're going to do next, they may try to get there before you. But out of the things you can share with us, where is Ready Player DAO headed?
So yeah, I think I just touched up on like a lot of that, the things that we want to do. And obviously like we also want to find other games that our
Right.
scholars will enjoy playing and that are like good to play to earn. So we're doing a lot of research into a lot of what's up and coming, and taking some like smaller bets into them, and investing there. And you'll see like the Ready Player DAO Twitter tweet about some of the cool things that we've acquired and some other like play to earn games that are upcoming. And like eventually we want to be, just a play to earn gaming DAO. We want to like, how if a scholar comes to us and is like, I want to play Axie. Okay, here's an Axie scholarship. You want to play this other game. All right, there you go. Like there's an Axie scholarship. You want to play both and you have the time to do so. All right, like go for it. Like let's help
Sky's the
you
limit. Yeah.
do what you want to do. And that's what we want to head to. And then like I said, helping with payout solutions. We might be doing some like automation and helping other guilds, do their payouts, and like breeding automation, automating like the movement and setting up of scholar accounts, things like that. So,
and that's honestly, I don't know of any guilds that are like, hey, other guilds, we want to help you grow, because that's community building at its finest. That's creating value and asking for none in return. So it goes right back into the core values of everything that we're all trying to do in this space. And I think, what, anytime somebody starts to set a trend like that and others see how important it is, they start to follow in line. So I think that could be a really huge thing that you're doing, helping smaller scholarship programs kind of grow as well, and potentially be able to have tools that are only available to the big teams that have the big funds. So I think it's really cool to see. Not only are you trying to help independent scholars, not only are you trying to help the Axie community, not only are you trying to help your own scholars become artists and better themselves, but you're trying to help other scholarship programs that are essentially competing with you for scholars. And it seems like you just don't see it as competition, which to me is the ideal way to look at this situation. That, hey, let's all do it together. There's no need for us to compete against one another and fight over the same dollar. Let's all do it together and share on the rewards. So, man, congratulations to you for having such a terrific mindset and for having that be the foundation that you're building upon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I think I've asked you pretty much everything I had for you today.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about with us?
No, I don't have anything on top of mind.
Should we try to? Should we play a music video and make you dance for everybody? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
We could dance together. We could both. No, I'm just kidding. I've never danced. I'm not as brave as you, my friend. I've never danced on camera.
No, I just want to shout out to you. Like I think I've said this before. Like you have been a great streamer. I was checking out Play Blankos a while back, like way back, I think in May, and like stumbled upon you, and like I think you do an amazing job with your streaming and like everything you've got going. I was so excited to see you getting on Axie.
I remember when you came into the stream. I remember the first day. I'm like, yo, this guy just like kicked in the door, follows, subs, throws biddies around. I'm like, who is this guy? Who's this guy with this immense positive? Like your positivity just kind of radiated straight through. Like everything you said was complimentary, or just like very positive, adding value to the conversation. So yeah, dude, from day one, it was super, super cool getting to meet you.
Yeah, no, thanks for everything.
The feeling is mutual.
Yeah, and thanks for a fun interview.
Oh, absolutely. So the last thing I want to do is just ask if anybody from the audience has any questions. I've been trying to kind of, pick through them and hand feed you any questions that were asked. But anybody from the audience, does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask Rich? Real Cabrera, Ready Player DAO founder. Maybe somebody which wants to see Cooper today because you haven't seen Cooper yet. But yeah, if you have any questions,
we can bring him up here.
Yeah, where's Cooper? If you got any questions, queue him up. And if not, we'll just hang for a minute or two and we'll let Rich. Oh, that's such a pretty puppy. He is beautiful. He really is. That, I don't know if it's like your camera's really nice, but his white and black color is so crisp. He really is a gorgeous dog.
Oh no, he knows it. He's a spoiled brat because of it.
How old is he?
He just over a year.
Oh, so he's a baby.
About a year and a month. Yeah. He was a quarantine pup. And
He's big
He
for
knows
one.
he can be hard headed because he knows how cute he is. Gets away with everything.
Oh, he knows. He knows I'm daddy's boy.
Yeah. No, he's a big boy. He's like 67 pounds.
Oh yeah, everybody, Cooper, please, Cooper, please, Cooper, please. All right, so let's see. Let's see if we have any questions rolling through here. Big Gun says, how do we support the DAO?
Honestly, I think just being in the community and, being a proponent for everything that's going out on is like a great way to support the DAO. Like I mentioned, we'll probably have, some kind of community tokens in the future.
That'll be cool.
We're just still in the building phase. So we're still trying to just pull capital, get to where we want to be. And then once we're there, we want to make sure we do everything in like a very much a compliant and like regulatory manner.
That's
So
very
we
important.
don't want to play in a gray area, right? So I think that's something that we're gonna make sure we're buttoned up with when we go that way, and we will open it up, to the community to support as well.
Great question, Big Gun. And another way y'all can support the Ready Player DAO is I just put their Twitter link in the chat. If you are not already following Ready Player DAO's Twitter, make sure you click on that, follow along. That way you can be there for all the crazy inventions they come up with, AR and real world. And then also, just be up on the news and maybe have an opportunity to learn about possibly starting your own DAO one day. Huntler has another question for us. He says, are you onboarding scholars starting this month through December, Kuya Rich?
We are onboarding scholars every 2 to 3 days.
Every 2 to 3 days. So how many are you up to now?
We're over, I think, around 1,600 scholars.
1,600 scholars. Incredible. So I have a question. How does even a group of people, how do you even remotely manage that large number? For those of us like myself who have small scholarship programs that are looking to make them bigger scholarship programs, how on earth do we begin to be able to manage people and still have any part of our day left? Because anybody who has a scholarship program knows between mentoring your scholars, paying, teaching, community building, just maintenance of the general program itself, onboarding, offboarding, all of it, payouts. It's an incredible amount of work. It is an incredible amount of work. It sounds like, hey, play video games for free and renting out my assets when I'm not using them. Sounds easy. It's not. It's not at all. So how on earth do you manage such a large DAO? Large scholarship program.
I think it's a mix of automation and, help from the community. We have like an amazing slew of moderators, community moderators, and, coaches that are all helping each other out to be successful. And, that's really the community is the backbone of Ready Scholar School. So, without our scholars, we're nothing. And that just takes it to the next step. And I try to be there as much as possible, less so now, just because I've gotten so busy with, trying to build out the future and like all these other things that I mentioned are on our roadmap. It's harder to be as active as I once was, but I do try to jump in there. I do try to do this contest, keep it fun. I try to resolve the issues that pop up as quickly as possible, so that, nothing major comes of it, right? And it's really just leaning on our moderators, right? And any way I can support them, I do that as well. So it's kind of like a mutual, community building community. And then I'm just there to make sure I'm greasing the wheels.
Man, that's really cool. That's really cool. Micro Cryptologist says, Sir Rich, how can I help you with your vision?
I think the best way to help, Ready Player DAO help everybody else is if we're made aware of like any of the issues, right? So like the payout automation one, the payout like gas issue is one that I've noticed, being it's a major concern of mine. But if there's other things that like, aren't in my scope, not that's something I'm not thinking about, like it's definitely something we should bring up. and we can see where we can help.
So just
It's all
constructive feedback. Yeah, feedback.
yeah.
Any issues you run into, anything like that you guys run into, make sure you bring it to Rich, bring it to Ready Player DAO, Ready Scholar School. Tell all these folks, hey, I'm having a problem here, I'm having a problem there. Whether you're using their Discord, whether you're using their Twitter, just make sure you're reaching out to these folks and helping them understand, hey, here's an obstacle, because you may think, it's just one person saying it one time, but if Rich sees the question 100 times in a week, guess what? Light bulb. Hey, here's an opportunity for us to create more value for our community, and that never happens if people don't speak up and give that feedback. That's why it's so important. Great answer, Rich. Great answer. Huntler has another question for us. I'm gonna rephrase it a little bit. It sounds like they're asking, how do you help scholars stay on track, and essentially what happens if a scholar doesn't stay on track? What is kind of your mindset with bringing your scholars along and working with them to get them where they need to be?
Yeah, so that's what we have coaches for, right?
Coaches.
So we have scholars that are becoming experts in the game to be able to help the other scholars, coach them up, teach them some tricks if they're not doing well. So like
Really cool.
first stop is like, okay, this guy is not performing well. Let's try to coach him up. If that's not helping, let's take a look at their Axies. Is the team comp good? If it is good, then we try to make sure that there's nothing wrong, like personally going on in their life that's causing them issues, because
Wow.
obviously, like, we're all people and things happen. So those are exceptions. But if it's just like not something someone has the time to put
Yeah.
into playing, or it's like not something someone can really do, that is something that we're just going to have to be like, look, there's so many people that are looking for opportunities, and sometimes it's just not worth their time and not worth
Yep.
our time. So we do want to keep everybody above like 75 to 100 SLP, because just completing the daily quest can get you like 50 to 75 SLP.
Sure.
So doing the bare minimum, you shouldn't be below that on average, right?
Right. Unless, like you said, there's like a personal issue going on, or you're just uninterested by the game, and in which case,
Yeah,
really,
it's not for everybody.
Yeah. And if you're truly a community player, if you get in and you realize it's really not for me, you should also be thinking, hey, I'm holding a slot that another community member could occupy, that could help them better their lives, help them work on their home, help them provide additional funds for their family. So I think keeping with the community mindset, anytime a scholar is sitting on an account that they don't intend to use for whatever reason, I think real community driven players are always going to kind of go back and say, hey, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's not for me. Pass this team along to the next member. So I've found that even in small experiences, that the vast majority of players who play and realize it's not for them, they're more than happy. There's really no tension in it. They're really happy to say, hey, thank you for the opportunity. I'll take my earnings and I'm going to go on my merry way. And please pass this team along to somebody who will use it on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
But I think the big things you said there were the fact that you take such a personal interest in your scholars, and that you have, a support network set up for these folks where you have coaches for them, that can mentor them along, and that even the individuals who are at the very top of the top of the organization, they will spend their time sifting through, perhaps personal issues that somebody's dealing with. And I think that shows, hey, we're not just a money making machine. We're here building a true community. And there's all types of value that comes with building a community. I say this all the time. Humans, we're pack animals. We weren't meant to spend our time alone. So I think the true value that we get out of a community is far beyond any one singular thing that we do get out of it. It's not the money. It's not just the friendship. It's not just the security. It's everything. It's a feeling of being part of something bigger than yourself and having a group of people to experience it with. I think that is kind of like the biggest thing that you know, that I take away from how you're describing your own organizations, you know, whether it's the DAO or whether it's the Scholar School or whether you were telling us about your family, you know, in the early part of this conversation. I see the same cycle of thought from you, you know, where you care deeply about the people that are involved in your community. You bring your own value to it. And the only thing you ask in return is that others are bringing value as well. Incredible stuff, Rich. Really is.
Yeah, appreciate it. I think you got it.
Yeah,
Hit the
man.
nail on the head.
Well, I think that's it for us today, guys. I think we've answered all of the questions. Rich, do you got anything else that you want to say to everybody?
Thank you everybody for coming by and hanging out. Now we want to see Chavio go on a win streak. We'll see some Axie Infinity.
Oh, you actually want to watch me play Axie Infinity right now?
Oh yeah, let's see it.
Oh God, no. All right. I'll play a round or two. I'm not playing much. I'm not very good. This is my team, Reptar. I stole the name Reptar from was it Rugrats, which is a show that none of you probably know because you're not as old as me. But there was a show,
I know it.
There was a show called Rugrats, and there was like a green and purple monster that was in there. So all right. So if we're done with the interview portion, I'll also kick on a couple tunes so we can at least have some music that I lose to. Because it's never fun to lose to silence. All right. Oh man, I'm feeling the pressure. I'm feeling the pressure now. All right. I play a plant reptile team. This is another team that a lot of other folks taught me about, and I'll just kind of talk my way through here. My goal here, I'm kind of in some trouble here already because I get nervous when I see the heal on the front card, knowing that I need to get to that beast because that beast is going to be able to do a ton of damage to me. So my instant goal here is to push my way right through this card, but I'm also concerned that I'm not going to have enough energy to push through before he hits me with a heal. So I think I'll try to get some poison on him just to kind of help me out a little bit. Potentially use some damage cards. And I think I'll even not use my last energy here because I think they're going to skip and not attack. All right, so we get some poison. We get some damage on. Now go ahead and comment all you want here, Rich, because I can learn here.
Yeah. I mean, heal on the tank is tricky.
I hate it.
You either have to get ahead of it or get behind it. But like you said, we're also concerned about that beast coming strong.
Yeah, like if I give him too much time to hide behind this plant tank, I'm in significant trouble. So depending on what cards he's picked up, he probably at this point has an Aroma or an October Treat. You know, he probably has one or the other. So, I mean, I could keep trying to smash right through him and even potentially pick up one energy. But he's probably going to shield pretty heavy here. So I guess we can use our high damage cards. Obviously, these are not high damage units that I have. They're more kind of some damage, some utility. That is enough to get through if he doesn't shield, but we'll see here what card sets he has and if I even get my plant through, because if his beast has the right card set, he could. Yeah, there he goes. He ends my beast. He ends my plant here. Gets a double energy gain. Oh no, I gain an energy there and he gains one. These guys, the crits on these guys are unreal, man. Unreal amounts of crits. We do take his plant though, thankfully. So we trade front cards. We still have a decent amount of energy. Unfortunately, you'll see his Terminator is way faster than mine. Mine's at a 37. I have a budget-friendly Terminator. And man, I wish I would have pulled another reptile card here. We're gonna play both of these just to get a little bit of extra shield on our reptile. Hopefully the beast does not have his card set back up yet. And I think I'm gonna save my sticky goo cards here. Oof. So we used our poison first. So that'll shake off and at least let us get some damage through. Rough round there, rough round. Again, didn't draw any of my front reptile cards, so not great. I'm assuming he's not going to make it through this round, so I'm if I had more cards here, I'd play 2 to 3 cards and give myself an extra 100 to 150 shield, but without having the extra reptile cards on the front end, I'm pretty nervous about him making it through. My biggest goal here would be to try to get rid of his beast this round. So I think what I would like to do, and I can slow his beast here, so it probably doesn't go first next round, but I don't think I'm going to use all my energy there. I think I'm going to try to slow him and chomp him, That way, my next attack on him will bypass his shield in the next round. But he does nothing here, which is a little surprising to me. Why would so Rich? What is happening? Why would he do nothing here?
So I think he's saving energy, and I think he's not concerned about you killing his beast yet, which is an interesting move because obviously you have the slowdown, so now you can kill his beast now that you go first. But realistically, I think he should have probably tried to. He might just be out of beast cards, but he probably should have gone for your mid here.
So I play out my reptile cards here, or do I skip? Do I skip my front line, my mid line here, and I go straight for my back line?
I would skip your front, unless you want to try to sneak that Incisor in. But I don't think it's worth wasting energy on both of those. I would try to kill the beast. At least with your back line.
Oh. I don't get him here without the third card. I think I played those backwards.
Yeah.
So let's see.
I think you want to.
Oh, and the crit. And the crit. I slowed him again though, so we're really not in trouble from their beast. But I'm gonna have a tough time against him considering how much faster he is. So I mean, to me, I'm thinking I only play. I don't know. I mean, I could do slow sticky goo to try to save some energy here, or I could just play sticky goo allergic reaction to try to prevent too much damage from him. What do you think here, Rich?
I would do sticky allergic. I think you want to save the slow because their Terminator's faster.
All right, let's try it out. Oof.
Yeah, you got to do sticky just because, you're going 1v2.
Rough. We shake off that. We get a hit in here. We finish him out, and now we're 1v1. I think we probably have the energy advantage here, but probably not a lot. So what are you thinking here? I mean, I would probably go sticky goo.
Yeah, reminder that he skipped that one round, so he should have a decent amount of energy. But what you want to do is you want to get ahead. So you might want to play double Mystic Rush, sticky chomp, just to get ahead, but or sticky goo, double mystic chomp. Make sure sticky goo's first, because you gotta remember that he's gonna chomp you.
Right, I'm gonna need those two slows, and hopefully he does more than 80 shield, so hopefully I get all three of those first attacks. So I may miss the chomp here.
Yeah, he has energy, so I think you should be okay. There you go. Oh, he doesn't go with the chomp.
This does enable us to go first next round. Oh, and I missed the chomp here. And all right, so I go first here, and we're in pretty bad shape right now. So what are you thinking? Chomp allergic reaction?
Yeah.
Sticky goo last?
Yeah. Wait, no. Sorry. Chomp. Yeah, that's right. Because you should be going through the behind the shields for both of those, and then sticky goo last.
Yeah, it looks like he's got us here. I couldn't get enough damage on him early on, man. And this is kind of what we were talking about earlier in the conversation, where having the right card sets is important, but that's kind of like phase 2. Phase 3 being you gotta have the right stats for your card too. So they take us down.
So I think it goes back to the initial plant, right? So when you have tri-spikes, if you're not using it to backdoor the like no shield play, and you're not like saving up your midliners cards, that's when you end up getting stuck like you did with like one card or two cards only to play with your mid. So I think it might have been better to save and try to backdoor with tri-spikes and hit their beast before killing their plant, and that might have put you in a better position. But also, they had the faster Termi, which is a lot harder to play against. So
all right,
it was a tough game.
Let's do it. But I think you're right. I think a lot of times these games are lost early. They're not lost late.
Yeah.
So this is a similar team. He doesn't have the Terminator in the back. He does have the plant up front again with the beast in the middle. pretty similar beast card we see. Not a lot of utility, a ton of damage on that card. Here he's got a little bit of heals, but not much. So again, to me, I think I play this one kind of similar to the last one, where I try to push my way directly through to that beast as soon as possible. And to your point, I don't have any of my midliners cards queued up right now. So the odds that I'm going to be able to get a Tri-Spike on the beast, probably not great. Potentially I could get one on the Aqua. Me, I'm thinking here, maxing out my damage on him, including using my slow card.
I also am always generally very careful on like first round when you see a beast like that, because they either come hard round 1 or they come harder like round 2. So I think playing the gain energy there was pretty great.
Yeah, I agree with that. That you typically, with these teams that have a lot of damage units on them, either the first round or the second round, you're gonna see the damage cards come out. And if they start with the damage right off the bat, they'll want to use them right off the bat. MMR Squirrel, my MMR is about, I think it's like in the 15s, maybe 1600, but I think it's in the 15s. So I'm thinking here of using October Retreat and Carrot Hammer to max out my shield on my unit. That's probably quite obvious to them, but since I have Carrot Hammer, that means I can do at least a little bit of damage to their front unit. So I could potentially keep mine another round, get a little bit of damage on him, and in the event that he tries to shield, I mean, I could throw one of my midliners cards, but if I do that now, then I won't have them when they kill my plant, and then I won't have anything to play with.
Yeah, I would also keep in mind that he played all of his energy last round, so he can only play, 2 cards or so. So
if I can't believe I need to count energy more. I'm not even remotely counting energy as I go here.
Yeah, so so
here we go. We got it. We can backdoor now if we want. What do you think here? Do we try to push through, or do we try to just?
Yeah, have we seen the tank pumpkin yet? Because if not, I bet it's coming. Okay, so I think it's a great time to push and try to hit their mid or back, because you're gonna see the pumpkin either now or next round.
We've seen one pumpkin. We haven't seen the next. We haven't seen both of his cards pulled out yet. So you're thinking go ahead and try to get some damage on one of the back cards. I mean, I can't help but try to want to kill his front card off too, but let's see what he does here. He may sacrifice it. Nope, he does it. He tanks it.
Perfect.
Let's go. Big brain plays. Big brain. I love putting the stun on their cards early on too, because I feel like it does a terrific job discouraging them from wanting the unit, because now to use his beast, he needs to use 2 energy just to get that first move out. We are back to kind of where we started with his front unit though. So what are we doing here? Continuing to try to push through the plant?
Yeah, so we've seen both his heals, we've seen both his pumpkins, and we've seen 1 leaf bug. So he's either gonna play a leaf bug and a carrot, try to gain energy on his way out with the plant. Bug cards will do more damage to plant, so maybe you want to play allergic and save your mids cards.
Do I play Mystic with it and try to get some extra damage out of it?
Yep.
That's it?
You
Just place those 2?
Could, if you want to make sure he's dead, you could play Chomp, but I don't think you. Actually, you might need it.
I know I do.
Yeah.
Well.
You should play Chomp.
And then I did.
Yeah, you should play Chomp first.
So do we backdoor again here, or do we try to go straight through the beast?
I'm not too concerned about the backdoor. I am concerned about the beast, right? Because beast will do more damage to your reptiles, and your reptiles will do more damage to the aqua. But that being said, I think you can play the backdoor if you want, because the beast is so low damage and it won't be able to heal. So getting in that early damage on that backdoor will be surprising. I would play Tri-Spikes, Grass Snake, Chomp, personally.
I hate that I hope one day they get rid of having 2 names for all the cards.
Oh, sorry.
So he misses that one.
Yeah, Venom Spray.
I'm just like, why? Why are there body parts and card names? Because like you hear everybody use like a mixture of both.
Yeah, so we knew like the beast is gonna come hard, but we knew you were gonna survive that attack.
Right.
Because of all the shields that we're putting up.
So sacrifice my front card now? Sacrifice my midliner here?
Yeah, play the grass snake just in case he survives.
Sure.
Well, you could actually probably survive most attacks. He just played all of his beast cards. So I think he will be good.
Any two of these 120 damage will probably take him.
Yeah, so it's very tricky. I would just play grass snake. Yeah, and then you probably don't have enough to kill his beast with the sticky chomp. So I just save energy instead of playing those two.
He frees him up. Oh, I could have survived it. Ugh. At least we get that off. I hate that. Come on. Just go. All right. So what is the mindset here? I get this wrong all the time. What do I do?
All right. So you don't want to, waste a lot of energy. I would just play sticky goo. He might come with an attack knowing that that's a beast. So if you're feeling risky, you could do like Mystic, Sticky, Thorny. But it's up to you. Like, do you think he's gonna play cards? He might just play one card, and that would
I get this wrong every time. Every time I think they're gonna do one thing, they do the other. I'll play 3 cards and they do nothing, and I use 3 energy on their front card. So like, I don't know. I since his back card is so weak, I do think he's gonna attack here. But see, I would have been wrong again. That's why I don't like even trying. He's clearly got 4 energy now. He's clearly got 4 energy for me. Here I always go Sticky Goo, Mystic, and then I'd probably do, hold on a sec. I'd probably do Allergic Reaction and then Chomp, and that would probably be the way I'd stack mine up.
Yeah, perfect.
Any feedback?
And that should be a dub. Nope, that should get you the win. I think this was well played.
Let's see what we got here. I love not playing another Terminator, so I don't have to worry about stun.
Yeah, so his middle card's wasted. And even if we go another round,
he's slow too now.
Win. Yep.
Sir Rich leading us to victory. Let's go. Ready Player DAO, Chavio's champions. I don't know. Maybe this is like something we need to do more often.
Absolutely.
1630 for those of you who asked the MMR. It was 1630. Well, Rich, man, I've had you for almost exactly 2 hours. I think that was what I promised that I would take from you, and I don't want to take too much because I know you all just learned that Rich has about 1,000,001 things he needs to be doing.
That's how it goes. Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me on, Chavio. I'm gonna drop. Go take care of Cooper. He's wanting to go play.
I bet he's like ready for his walk and ready to do some fun stuff.
Yeah, he's my #1 priority every day. So.
That's amazing.
Says,
you're going to be a good dad when you get there.
Go.
Take your time. Take your time. But when you get there, you're going to be a good dad, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, chat, RSS family, Ready Player DAO family, Rich, of course, Sir Rich. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming on the show and, letting us all learn about you, what you're doing, and all the incredible things. And I got to say, I can't wait to have you on the show again. Maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months from now, we'll bring you back on here. And I know we're going to hear equally mind-blowing stuff that we heard today.
Hopefully. That's the goal.
I know we will, man. I know. You're going to be one to watch.
See you, man.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time. Be well. Stay excellent. Peace. We out of here.